Hello everyone, welcome back again to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. This is of course your weekly astrology. We're going to be going from May 21st to the 27th, and the sun moves into Gemini Sunday the 21st. And then we also have the moon that's going to hook up with Venus in Cancer, and then hook up with Mars after that in Leo. But then for the weekend, we'll have, the upcoming weekend, around 27th, 28th, we'll have the moon in Virgo. So anyway, let me swap out cameras here and bring you over my table and show you what we have. Hold on. Okay, so we open this week with the sun entering Gemini, 12:10 a.m. Pacific time. Of course, it's May 21st. And the sun is still trying to Pluto, so that is excellent. And it lasts through the 28th. So it's going to be shining the light on corrupt politicians, oligarchs, anyone who doesn't care about humanity but just wants to have their way. But it'll help us see ways that we can use our power, in Aquarius to support our freedom with our new original ideas, new inventions. It's good for astrology. It's good for the arts. And maybe we'll be more grateful for the sciences and technology that actually have been working better for us than ever before. I notice things are so much easier lately. But then again, there are the scammers out there, and they're getting, trickier as well. But too, we have information about how to deal with that's out there as well. And I attribute that to Uranus in Taurus. And, we pretty much just have 10 degrees to go before it moves to Gemini. But that's quite some time off, so I won't talk about that today. No, for this week. Now, hopefully on all fronts with this, we have the square happening, the grand square still happening. But I'm hoping that all the bigots and the crazy rebels, like the ones who decided to go to January 6th at the Capitol 2021, and now they're in jail, in prison for one person got 14 years recently. And then, of course, we've got the Proud Boys dude and the other one. I think they're pretty much taken care of. So, Oath Keepers and Proud Boys. So, anyway, I hope that they've been learning their lessons. They were operating from this, I'm better than you. Right, and that can be the problem with Pluto and Aquarius. It will bring up all of that, like crazy people thinking that just because they're a billionaire, they're better than you and they can do whatever they want. Or because you're a mob boss, I guess, mobbed up ex-president, you can just do whatever you want. Well, he learned a lesson. Of course, he appeals, he's appealing, and probably why I always had those cards with E.G. and Carol, that it was, just going to continue on for quite some time. So, but anyway, we shall see with that. So with the Gemini sun, we're in that realm of learning and thinking and processing and talking about what we've learned. The sun will make us aware of new things. It'll help us to focus our attention on what we value, and that's especially true because we have this stellium in Taurus holding space for that. And because now, we've gathered some information, and now we're talking about it. Let's see, what else? With Gemini, we're in that area of being able to see new patterns and track old patterns, and so patterns, information, anything that we need to help us make better sense of what's going on, either within ourselves and even communicate better with others. I mean, it really, really is true, and this is especially a good aspect here going on with the trine to Pluto. That I mean, it's really true that once you know yourself, or as you know yourself, the better you know yourself, I should say, the better that you can understand others, and we can understand each other. So anyway, let's go to the Grand Cross tension field. See how I have the two T-squares here? Mars is in play now, but later on it'll be Venus, but not this week. So opposition here, opposition here. That's why they call it a Grand Cross. But it is a huge tension field, and we are still laboring under it. And of course, you can see it's involving Pluto, Mars, Jupiter. Jupiter is cooking towards the north node, and it's been opposing the south node. So I was feeling into this a little bit in meditation, and I was feeling that it had more to do with helping us to work through whatever we need to work through in order to move forward, on our path in our deepest integrity, and to help us heal authority issues. So, of course, no one likes arbitrary authority, but if you grew up in a home where authority wasn't trusted, where your parents weren't trustworthy, then we're going to have authority issues to heal. And so I don't really believe in a rewarding or a punishing type of a universe. I just believe in karma, in the law of cause and effect. And so because we believe something, then it has an effect. Or because we did something, if we don't stop it in time and forgive ourselves and make amends where we can, then that will have, an effect as well, consequences. So, but anyway, with Mars here, this point of the square lasts until June 4th. But then it won't be long, like I was saying before, Venus catches up here and helps us to harmonize this whole healing pattern. So to focus on being your own authority in your own life, where you do your own research, where you don't just do things because people tell you, where you always get second opinions, and this could involve anything to do with your health, your finances, all of that. Always use your own best judgment, and you'll learn how to empower yourself, because it's going to help you think outside the box with Pluto in Aquarius. And then all these squares to Eris, Jupiter, and the North Node are going to help you on your path. And for now, for just a little bit, Mercury's not too far off either, but it's moving away. So, but let's see. So anyway, I was just feeling into this whole month, like trying to settle in, and it feels like that we're going to be deciding what we believe in with Jupiter here to the North Node, because it's just so tight there in that orb. Deciding what we're going to what we do believe in, because Jupiter's all about beliefs, and how to use our energy with Mars to heal the past with the South Node, and then we can more powerfully with Pluto step into our future. And of course, none of that is possible without being present with ourselves and all of our human vulnerabilities and complexities of living in a human body. I mean, I know, you guys, it's like, it's not easy being human. Some days it's hard to be human. But the more we honor our humanity and have less and less energy tied into being anything other than just a normal person, then the more our life force can flow. If we can unplug, I guess is a good word, from all those things that don't really bring us happiness, then we sure can have a lot more energy. Because the rest of the, if we're plugged in trying to be better than, or hooked into these appearance values, then what happens is that our life force gets instead of coming in and flowing through our body, it's going out in all these outer directions, and it doesn't energize our systems at all. It's like having an oil leak in a car. Or you're in a boat. Imagine, we're on the ocean and we have each of our vessels is our bodies. And imagine all the places that we give our power away can be like a leak where the water comes in and drowns us later on. So, or capsizes the boat and we figure out another way to get to shore. Hopefully we plug the holes, right? And plugging the holes would be those healthy boundaries that we're always working on. So if we unplug from all those things, then we'll have more energy, and then it flows through our bodies the way it's meant to. And as we heal all those little false beliefs that could be, one of the holes in the boat, then, and those false beliefs are not just about ourselves, but they're also about life. When we heal those, we can turn everything around. And so that's, in a nutshell here, what I see with this opportunity with the Grand Cross for all of us. So with the sun here at the focal point of this aspect of the architect here, from the sun to Pluto to Mars, I was feeling that, and it lasts through the 28th to the 29th, depending on where you're located. It's time to open up even more to all those new ideas, and the aha moments are sure to be coming in. That's for darn sure. So you're going to want to remember to write them down. And then on Sunday, so for today, with the moon in Gemini, sextiling Chiron up here in Aries, we have the opportunities to heal more deeply and bring our deeper gifts through. And notice how you might be thinking in new ways and you're more willing and able to communicate them. Now, Mercury's still opposing the South Node here, but that's just through Wednesday, so don't worry about it. But if there's still things bubbling up from the past and you're clearing out for the future, expect that's normal. And with Mars squaring Jupiter all week here, Mars is at that T-square down here, right? At this other leg of the Grand Square, Grand Cross. So that feels to me like it's a good time for giving your heart to something or someone you love. But if it's someone, be sure they're trustworthy, because, with Taurus energy over here, we definitely, Mars opening the heart and then in Leo, right? Because Leo rules the heart. Leo's ruled by the sun, and that's our core, energy in our bodies. So when there's more energy flowing through the heart, things are better for the body, but you're going to want to be only committed to people who are trustworthy and, because it's all about safety and security with all that Taurus energy there. The safety, security, and our self-esteem and, being faithful to ourselves, and Taurus is all about self-preservation. So anyway, with Mars squaring Jupiter all week and then into June 5th, it's a good time for, opening the heart. You might want a lot, but not be willing to work for it, usually. I mean, that's a normal human thing that we all, it's like, oh yeah, I like that, but then do we really want to do the work to earn that? Not always. But when Mars is in Leo, we might just be wanting to talk about it and not take any real action. So be careful for those people who are just, trying to get you going, and then they want you to do all the work is basically what's happening. And they may not know that they're unconsciously doing that. That's a very real possibility. And so if you're working with someone who doesn't have follow through with their commitment, or, with this pattern here with the square from Jupiter to Mars, it's definitely that pattern of all talk and no action. So you have to be careful with that. So there's a boundary there that could come in. Now, Mars here is also opposing Pluto through the end of the month. And that should definitely bring up any inner conflicts we need to, work out. So we will have some confrontation here going on, but it might happen through the mirror of relationship, but once we work through any confrontation, then we have a breakthrough to something new. And usually we can experience a whole lot more happiness. And then Jupiter, like I was saying before, is joined up here with the North Node, which also opposes the South Node. That's going to kick up some breakthroughs for the healing of the past, I think, all the way through to June 23rd. And the aspect of the architect between the Sun, Pluto, and Mars that I was speaking to before, I'm looking at my notes over here with my dates. That lasts through the 25th of this month, so through May 25th. So that's pretty much just this week. But anyway, that configuration there gives us that energy to go for what we want. And the aspect of the Sun trining to Pluto lasts a little longer than this aspect of the architect. This right here will last through the 29th. So we're still going to be witnessing this flow of like political corruption. It was always there, right? But there's going to be more coming out in the news. And hopefully it's more justice coming through. And this is going to intensify over the next couple of weeks because Mercury, of course, is now direct and it's making its way towards Uranus. And there could be something shocking that comes out, But then again, I don't know if we could be shocked anymore. But, of course, I can be wrong about that. With Venus, later on, let's see. Yeah, I think this is a good enough overview. Venus square Chiron. Yeah, let me move ahead. Let's go ahead and move forward to Monday. So for Monday here, the moon's in Cancer in this grand water trine. And of course you can see it's to Saturn in the South Node. So that brings in this combination of cardinal movement combined with fixed energy. So we've got movement and then a stop and then an opening, right? So I want to go, I want to get somewhere, I want to do something, want growth, we want, all these things that we want. But it could bring up some Scorpio wisdom from your past experiences into form with Saturn holding space here for all of us to build more spiritual strength and healthy boundaries. Like, remember the little holes in the boat, the little leaks in the boat we want to plug, right? And to remind us, this configuration here reminded me of how much alone time that empaths need. It's just part of the process. We tend to be more introverted. But the moon, being at the bucket point of that aspect of the architect here, that brings in, so it's at the bucket point down here with this water trine, and then these two sextiles of opportunity right here from the North Node and Mercury, because the moon's going to keep going. So this is an approaching sextile. Sextiles are always known for, or mostly known for, bringing in opportunity. But what we have going on is the possibility of the expansion of Jupiter influencing the whole configuration there, and all the possibilities for the future, for whatever it is that you're all working on creating. So Monday's excellent for that. Then, let's see. What else is going on? Mars here, trining Neptune. Well, think of Mars as being very spiritually sourced when it's connected up to Neptune. Neptune can be spiritual source energy, your higher self. It can also be delusion and drugs and escape. It just all depends on what you're doing with yourself, right? Because that's the way it works. But anyway, so when we have not only Mars connecting to Neptune, but then we also have Neptune connecting to Pluto. So we've got this aspect of the architect here. That's going on until the 25th. So, just a few more days. And that brings in more creative flow from our source, from our spiritual source within. So if we go gently towards what we, are being motivated from within, it's going to lead us to our spiritual growth, because it always does. Because we just have to always remember that we are living, walking, moving creators in our own life. And we're learning to take self-responsibility for the fact that we're the ones. We're not, there's a certain amount of surrender with just being human in a body. But for the most part, we are creating our future every step of the way. So that's an important thing to hold that, it can feel like a paradox, like, wait, what? But you just do your best with what you have and keep going towards what you want and working on, staying in your integrity. And eventually everything works out. And the things that don't, you won't be so bothered with. When you're on your creative path, when you're on your life path and you're creating your own life, it's such an empowering experience that things don't bother you so much. You might still, of course, have all kinds of emotional reactions all over the place. So we might get angry, but then we can tap into it and try and figure out maybe it's healthy anger that's needing to set a boundary. Or maybe it's triggering something within that we didn't have, it's triggering a real need that wasn't met when we were little, and then that's an opportunity to heal. So with all of that going on all the time, it's actually a really beautiful process, I feel. So anyway, we can expect powerful breakthroughs at the best, but confrontations, along the way, right? With that Mars opposing Pluto all the way through the end of the month. So it's about spiritual growth, basically. Now, I'm feeling with this configuration, we're also all of these configurations going on, we're also more open to abundance. That's especially true with all the Taurus energy here. And like I said before, focusing more on what matters to us. Priorities are being made, and we're more tenacious with Venus in Cancer here, and the South Node in Scorpio. Both signs known for tenacity and perspicacity and digging your heels in and transforming because you want a new experience. But anyway, so we're making these priorities, and with that tension field of the T-square to Mars and Pluto, from coming off of Jupiter over here, this one, on this side of it. See, we've got these 4 different sides to look at. We have some opportunity here to gain some strength, but it's important to remember that Saturn and Jupiter are the planetary builders. So with Saturn and Pisces, it's all about all things artistic and spiritual and compassionate and loving and kind and giving and being in bliss. And Jupiter in Taurus for the next year is helping us to ground our visions in this earthly realm here. So we really are in a working, pattern going on here. And then we have to remember that this Neptune sextile here to Pluto, this lasts until October 22nd. So that gives us a really nice flow of creating more grace and ease in our lives. more opportunities for figuring out how to make our lives more simple, I suppose. And then Pluto sometimes can bring something to light that we need to eliminate, especially with the sextile to Neptune. It would be anything that takes us off our spiritual path, anything that keeps us away from healthy sleep and dream time and meditation. And Pluto can really help us in evolving any soul substance that needs to be unhooked. It's soul substance that has been hooked into negative pleasure. And when you unhook from that negative pleasure, you can experience more positive, real pleasure in your life. So I have written tons about that on my opening page of my website. So you just go there rather than me, speaking about it here, because I would probably be here another 20 minutes. So anyway, it's on the first page on the home page at my website, and it's Denise Knight, knight.com. And there are hot links in every single one of my videos, right in the, if you just go to the description area, scroll down a little bit, there are links there. Or in the About section on my YouTube channel there. So anyway, Pluto's squaring the nodes here to keep going with this, trying to work my way around. That happens through December 7th, and there's the power struggles, but Eris right there squaring Pluto until Christmas Day. That's going to help us find the courage to overcome any control issues with others, or to reach out and help others that need help too. There's that courage to help other women and other people who are fighting for the vulnerable, because that's what Eris is all about. And then, like I was saying before, the Mars in Leo here opposing Pluto, that is a very, powerful opening of the heart that can really energize our whole body and soul. So, yeah, let's go ahead and move forward to Tuesday. And there we can see the moon is still in Cancer, but now it is crossed over. It's on the other side, and it's an exact at 6 a.m., an exact conjunction to Venus. And so now, with the moon crossing over, we're having, as the moon brings in real needs and the way we respond. So it feels to me like it's about bringing in more harmony and more fun and more playtime. For Tuesday, it can be a really good day for anything you feel drawn to, as long as it's geared towards nurturing yourself and your home and your loved ones and your space, or even if you're traveling, it could be your car, Cancer rules the Chariot in the tarot, and that's often a vehicle. So it might be a really good day for having work done on your car if need be. And we're done with Mercury retrograde, so that could be perfect. Like maybe safety checkup or something like that on your car. It'd be a really good day for that for Tuesday. But let's see, what else? Well, when I'm feeling into the Cancer energy, combined with Venus, because Venus wants to unify something and wants us to come full circle with something, it could be that it has to do with knowing that giving and receiving is all one energy flow. So as long as it's not controlling, as in, like giving to get, or other types of manipulation, then everything will be fine. It'll all be well. And then with Uranus in the mix over here, because you can see the sextiles over here, to the sextile from, see how it's 19 degrees and 17 degrees here. So the moon is cooking its way pretty quickly. Venus, she's not a slacker, so she's moving towards in this direction too. And then later on in July, she'll go retrograde. So, but anyway, mostly it's Uranus to the moon, but Venus is there holding space for all things beautiful, all things filled with love, all things that unify us, all things that can make values and, compare, I really wanted this or that. And then it also can have to do with personal love for family members and surprises. I was feeling like there's an element of surprise here, with Uranus here in the mix. So it could be a surprise opportunity for fun or making, going on a trip, or it could just be your guides, because Uranus or Neptune are often, especially Uranus, both of them. But with Uranus, we could say Neptune is all of our guides and guardian angels and higher selves and, source energy. And then Uranus comes in and helps us kind of giggle and brings us the fun and says, hey, what about what Neptune has to say? Hey, look over here. Hey, think about that. It could be the inspiration that comes through. Because I often see when Mercury and Uranus are together, I look at that and think of, connected to your divination, your guidance systems. Mercury, the mind, and Uranus awakening, right? Uranus, remember, is of all things, always about, is being known as the Great Awakener. So and it might be just that your guides are making you giggle a lot today, or you could just be kind of cracking yourself up. I do that all the time. It's like, but half of it's like, oh, I didn't think of that one. And then, like I was saying before, you could have an invitation that's really nice. Now, with the Sun in conjunct to the South Node, wait, was that happening yesterday too? Yeah, it sure was. Oh, you guys, sorry I missed that. Yeah. It could only be for a day or two because it's such a tight orb. But anyway, when we see an in conjunct, also known as a quincunx, we're dealing with an adjustment that needs to be made. So I'm thinking that with the Sun in Gemini, we're learning something new, and this would be Monday and Tuesday. We're learning something new, and it reminds us of something that happened in the past, and we're thinking, oh, okay, I need to make an adjustment so that either that doesn't happen again, or so that this time I take advantage of a situation because of that trine to Pluto. And the Sun being there at that focal point in that aspect of the architect where we're really trying to build something that we love with Mars and Leo there. Okay, so let's go to Wednesday. Wednesday, 6 a.m., May 24th. Early morning now. The Cancer moon's been making her way to the Mars and Leo. Now we have this conjunction, and we might be waking up in kind of a feisty mood, and or waking up very talkative, or somebody's waking you up and they're talkative. There's a lot of go for it energy here. But because the moon is joining in with this Grand Cross now, we are, and it's all connected there with Neptune and part of the aspect of the architect, right? It's all together now. Look at all of these squares, oppositions, there's a lot of energy here. So I'm feeling like we want to be careful about being gullible and getting sucked into power struggles. And I'm also thinking that safety first and protecting yourself is a good rule of thumb. If anything doesn't feel loving or feel right to you, then don't go for it. Or if you're in the midst of a conversation that's going in a hateful way, then leave. So then you remove yourself out of that energy field and you take your energy into which is your power, into doing something that you want, right? Rather than getting in a big fight. So, yeah. Now, also, on another level, I feel like, it could play out a couple different ways. So on one level, it could be that there's so much energy going on for the day that you just go to sleep early, crash out early, and you're good. On another level, if you are trying to work through something that was very combative, or if you're in a confrontation with someone else, with these an emotional confrontation. If that happens, you might be trying to process that through, and it could keep you awake. So do your best to process through anything you can, or anything you need to, as much as you can throughout the day, because otherwise it might keep you up too late. So that's pretty much what I was seeing there. But we do have, this beautiful double trine going up to Neptune. So just know that no matter what is happening or has happened or is going on, always just take it to your guides. Take it to your guides for transformation, and you'll be just fine. Set your intention, go to your guides, get your guidance, and you're set. And then Thursday, so now the moon has crossed over Mars, and far enough over past Mars that we've probably settled in a bit. So you might feel more free to express yourself today, and you might have learned something between, yesterday and today. So, but there is this square to Mercury in Taurus, and then the trine to Chiron in Aries, so that we're, this is fiery. There's a lot of fire going on here, right here with this trine. So there's a connection, and as the moon moves forward, it'll be an exact trine to Chiron at 18. Right now the moon's at 11, 6 a.m. Pacific. And then, and this again is Thursday, May 25th. But Chiron is there holding space at 18 degrees Aquarius, or Aquarius, what am I saying? Aries. And, well, you know what? Maybe there's I wouldn't call it a Freudian slip, but maybe it is more Aquarian in nature that has to do with freedom. Because when I say the word Aquarius, I think of freedom and thinking outside the box. I think of some new original idea that can come through, and being honored for your uniqueness, anything we want from others, we have to have it within already, right? So if we honor our uniqueness, then probably we will be honored that way. If we want self-respect, if we want respect, we have to have self-respect first, that type of thing. And you only get all those things with hard work, knowing yourself and working through the things that are blocking all of the good stuff, which would only be the false beliefs. But anyway, so with Mars trining Chiron here, I feel like it's a good day to not push yourself, or don't allow others to push you either. And also, I feel like there's so much energy throughout the day, it's going to be a good night to get to bed early. And, yeah. And then that's especially true because the moon is moving this way, and then we'll have a connection to Uranus coming up later as well. So yeah, so set your intentions for anything you want to know, and it might come up in dream time with this, Mars trining Neptune there, and back up there with the sextile to Pluto as well. But that's always, good advice. And Mars sextile the Sun down here, and notice how we have two aspects of the architect going on, right? You can see that. So from the Sun to Mars, again, with the new information, opportunity to move forward in a new way, now that you know what you know. Okay, so then Friday, you can see the moon's still in Leo, and there's that square to Uranus that I knew was coming in. So that tension's kind of been building. And I get the feeling that, so this is Friday, 6 a.m., but I get the feeling that this could be one of those mornings where you just kind of wake up and hit the ground running. You might just be ready to go. And maybe it's because we've slept very deeply, and Because, you know, it's like when you exercise, it regulates your body. So if you, even if it's just little walks or whatever you can do, it regulates your body and your sleep, your, you know, what is it? Circadian rhythms is the word I was trying to remember. And so it could be something like that, because there's so much energy that I would think that would help for, and, you know, it's fire and water and grounded energy. The only thing we have in air signs are, well, Pluto and Aquarius is nothing to sneeze at, but the Sun in Gemini is, here are 2 air signs. And the rest is, you know, fire and earth and water. But predominantly, you can see. So that makes for, and it's the time of year where we're up and out and moving around more because we can. You know, we're not in crazy storms, although they can pop up anywhere, can't they? Okay, so anyway, let me just go ahead and move on. So on the spiritual level here, I feel like we're probably getting good sleep and good guidance in dream time. And then with that trine to Chiron and Eris, I feeling like you might have more or have a deeper connection to your real self, and then have more courage to share your gifts. This is very powerful here. Okay, so then let me go ahead and move on to Saturday, and you can see the moon's in Virgo there. And we have a triple trine over here to Mercury, the North Node, and Jupiter. So we have messages coming in to help us on our life path, to help us heal any self-esteem issue, and grow towards more security based on what you really want, based on your true values. And with the moon at this focal point this morning, you know, with this aspect of the architect, so we can really build something. When we have the moon at the focal point, we can make plans coming from a part of yourselves that knows only you, and only you could know this, the divine order for your life. And you have this connection to the wisdom of the past, and then you want to go in all of this direction. So Saturday the 27th can be a really, really good day for planning. And I know it's a, you know, weekend day, but it could also be a really good day for working on something. Coming from, you know, the wisdom of the past, and then moving forward to expand in a new way. So these could be money-making opportunities. This could be connecting with people of like-minded, you know, your kindred spirits. Anything that helps you feel more grounded in your creative, abundant, real self is supported. So the only little glitch here is the square to the sun. But you can see that right here, and it'll move pretty quickly. It's really just in the morning. So later on, well, it'll probably hit the exact square by 10 a.m. or so Pacific. Yeah, and then it'll be a waning square. But so when it's an approaching, or what you would call with the moon a waxing square, then there could be a lot of information coming through, and then you're having to make some adjustments. Virgo energy is so good about discernment and getting the details, but that little, you know, square for a while, you might have to let go of wanting things to be perfect or in perfect order. So it's not a good morning for like too much coffee or too much stimulation, too much talking, especially with that opposition to Saturn, right? So, you know, you don't want to get caught up in anyone's blame game or their victimization or, you know, their gaslighting if people are doing that, because, you know, they do that sometimes. They don't want to take responsibility for what's going on in them, so they project it onto you and then try to make you be the bad guy and you're the one that's doing it to them when it's actually completely the other way around, right? But other than that, that's the only little thing I would watch out for. But and it might just be something we see on the news, right? Like I remember last week there was something on the news about George Santos who he's being investigated. They found him guilty of taking, I think he'd earned $120,000 in the same year that he was taking unemployment. But him and someone else, another dude, started a new law about cutting off unemployment. They tried to pass a new bill to cut off unemployment altogether. It's like, what? Now that would be gaslighting and projection. That's a perfect example. So anyway, but yeah, it's just, it looks to me like a really good morning for organizing for the next week, and maybe planning some fun for the weekend, because you guys will, you get these readings a couple days early, so you can focus in on some plans. So other than that, that's all I have for this week. So I'm going to get this uploaded for you all, and big hugs. Take good care. Bye.